Okay, good afternoon and welcome everybody to the next in the series of virtual classes brought to you by the Smithville Area Chamber of Commerce in partnership with the Smithville Public Library. We also have funding partners that we always are excited to thank as we appreciate their support. The Institute of Museum and Library Services and the Texas State Library and Archives Commission have very generously helped us fund all of these classes. I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody that's on, except for, of course, our instructor and myself. And again, I want to thank those funding partners. I want to remind everyone that these classes are all available at the website smithvilletx.org, which is the Chamber's website, as well as on the library's Facebook page and the Chamber's Facebook page. These will always be available anytime for people to log in and watch these classes. But we also want to make the time that we record them live so that anyone that wants to log in can ask our instructor questions. Our instructor today is Anna Murray with Sundance Expressions, who is teaching a class called iPhone Camera Settings and How to Take Great Photos with Your iPhone. Good afternoon, Ms. Murray.
Hey, good afternoon. It's actually morning where I am.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, it's 63 degrees. I figured y'all might ask, so I had to share.
How nice, how nice.
Yeah, sorry, it's a little chilly.
Well, that's okay. It's warm here actually, but that's the excitement of technology, right? Is our instructor can be in a completely different state and still be here to answer your questions. So yes. I will also remind you that those of you that are on today, that we have several other classes coming up, including July 1st, business sustainability, July 6th, what is podcasting and how can it help your business? And July 13th, learn all about social media. So those are just a few of the classes coming up. You can read about all of our classes that we have scheduled through the end of August at smithvilletx.org. Simply click on events on that page and drop down and you'll see our virtual classes page. So Ms. Murray, with all that, I'm going to turn this over to you. Are you ready to go?
I am ready. I'm ready. And Krista, I apologize. I should not have told you all what the temperature is here. However, it gets to 90 occasionally, but I'll also say that I can make my air conditioning at home go to 63 if I so needed. So anyway, with that, I am going to get started. So thank you all for being here. I'm excited to be able to teach this class. I do have two connections here. One is for my iPhone and one is for my computer. So let me move myself out of the way here. So again, thank you for being here, and I always appreciate the opportunity to teach a class with the Chamber. It's really thrilling. In the public library, they do so many amazing things for our business community and our community as a whole. So it's really nice to be a part of that. So get started here. This is what I want you to be able to expect in this hour. So I'm going to review the settings that we see in our iPhones. And disclaimer, if anyone here uses a phone other than an iPhone, a lot of the principles can be used with an Android or a Google phone, or if there's anything else out there that I'm not aware of. I am going to specifically speak to some of the settings in iPhone and the features and the modes, and then give some tips and tricks on taking photos. And I love that Linda Bauer is here because she's a professional photographer. And it's when you don't have a professional photographer on staff or readily available to you, utilizing the high quality product that is embedded in these iPhones these days is something to consider. So I do not want to discount the importance of utilizing in the situations when you would utilize a professional photographer. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is editing your photos on the iPhone. So here we go. So from the lock screen, I wanted to make sure that if you have an iPhone, you see at the bottom, let me put my second disclaimer out. I'm using an iPhone 8 Plus. So I'm not using the highest end iPhone on the market. So if you have an iPhone that is more advanced than mine, then you're going to have more options and more features. But I wanted to make sure that utilizing when I thought about teaching this class, I thought I'm going to go get a 12 plus because I'm kind of in the market to upgrade my phone. But I've kind of delayed that process, and I'm okay with it because the iPhone really allows a lot of capabilities. And the higher model you get, or more recent model, if you will, really has a lot more features and a lot more camera settings. So this is more of a basic overview. So, all right. So at the bottom here, you'll see at the bottom of this is just a screen capture from my phone. And at the right, there's a phone icon. In order to get a quick, I wanted to go over just getting a quick access to your camera, which utilizing your camera for your business, you're probably not in a hurry to miss that awesome picture of that action or item, but just some little tips along the way. All you need to do is just swipe to the left, and then it'll open up your phone. Excuse me, it'll open up your camera. So you don't have to press the passcode or type it in. Just a quick swipe and you're there. The other way to do this is to place your thumb at the bottom of your phone, which I could show you here, and then just swipe, follow the camera, right? Swipe up, and then that will take you to this screen. And then at the bottom, however it's arranged on your phone, you can select the camera icon, and there you are, you have your camera. Another is, believe it or not, you can ask Siri to open your camera. I'm glad she did not just do that. Literally, you can say, Siri, open camera, and it'll take you straight to your camera. It's pretty wild what the technology can do for us. All right, so with that, I'm going to get started by sharing a different screen. And I have to accept that we are being recorded. I need to stop this share. Sorry about that, you guys. April, can you unshare me? I mean, allow more shares than one.
I have multiple participants shared.
Thank you. What this means is it's probably user error on my part. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to pull up my iPhone. Thank you, April. There we go. Go over a couple of things for you. With you. All right, first things first. When you are accessing your camera on your phone, here's my home. This is my main first page, and here's my camera icon. And this is just a shot of my little mouse pad here. You can see these little grid lines around the camera, the phone. So that what that allows you to do is line up your photos along the rule of thirds. And I'm sure if you've taken a photography class with the chamber before, you've heard other instructors talk about the rule of thirds. Basically, it's best to place your horizon lines along the grid lines or your main subject, which this adds the intersection of the two lines. So if I wanted to take a picture of this mouse, I could square it up, which is what we normally do when we don't have grid lines, or I could off center it. It's basically having you off center. So the two-thirds rule. What it does is it helps create a stronger, more impactful image. And I'll show you how to do that if you do not currently have that set up on your phone. So you simply go to settings, and then you select your camera. So I have to scroll down a little ways here, select camera. And then here you can see towards the middle bottom, my grid lines were on, I turned them off, and then I turned them back on. So it's pretty easy to do. Again, that's settings, and then camera, and then grid lines. All right. Now, I wanted to take a few minutes to go over all of these different modes. And you're going to be looking at my iPad, my mouse pad a little bit there, but who wouldn't want to look at cute, adorable little golden retriever puppies? First things first is the photos. The photo is the default mode that comes up. And this is where 95% of the photos are taken or we typically take our photos from this mode 95% of the time. I'm going to go over a couple of these in different order. So for the square mode, this one is the one that crops the view or crops the field of view so that you can take the square photo. It's great for composing images, especially more abstract images. But when I'm thinking about how does this transfer to utilizing this in a business mode, I couldn't think of one. It doesn't mean you don't do it. Just remember or be noting this, that when you utilize the square mode, it's decreasing the resolution by cropping the photo ahead of time. And the change is irreversible. If you take the photo from portrait, from the regular photo, like I'd said, 95% of the images we take are from the photo mode, you can crop it down to a square, and we'll go over that in a little bit, and then it'll keep your high resolution. But it's an option that you can use if you so choose. All right, let's go on to another one. Here's one, time lapse. I'm just showing you on the screen. Hopefully you can see that on the phone there. This one allows you to record a special type of video for your iPhone camera. So it takes a series of photos over a period of time and it creates a video. When you play it back, you'll see the scene changing over time. And it can be great when you want to capture a subtly changing scene, maybe something from your storefront, maybe I've been racking my brain how to use that in business. But again, people are very creative, and I've seen this online a lot with different creativity people are using. And when I was thinking about this class and how you would use photos for your business, I tend to think more along the lines of social media usage, utilizing print media, maybe for some mailers or even email marketing. That's where the photography comes in for me with this class, is for your business. Okay, I should have said that up front. Sorry about that. So then you have your panorama. That's listed as pano, but it's the panoramic images that you can take. So this one, really, I love taking outside in nature, or when there's a lot of people in a group and you can get everyone instead of, going across the street to get everyone in the picture. And it's pretty easy to do. Now, I could show you this outdoor scene. Oh, make you dizzy. I just turned it around. So you hold down the shutter and you move your, let me see if I actually know what I'm doing. You move your scene, but you have to hold on to it as it goes. And I think I'm going the wrong way. Goodness gracious, you guys. 63 degrees is really impacting me. So this is a really terrible picture. You can tell in this picture towards the bottom, it looks like the window's pretty messed up. That's because I moved my camera up and down and I wasn't steady. So some of the things you need to think about when you're using panoramic mode is to stay steady. Otherwise, you look at that and it's not nice. Not nice. Oops. Almost got out of this accidentally. Okay, let's move on to something more fun. Panoramic's fun. It really is. There's some really cute things you can do. I don't know how you use it in business necessarily, but anyway, you guys use your creativity. As far as the video mode goes, iPhone really allows you to take a high quality video. And you press your shutter button, it starts recording. And when you're finished recording, you press it again. That's pretty simple. And I'm not going to take up much time with that. We also have slow motion, and that allows you to obviously take slow motion videos. You simply press your shutter button to begin the recording, and then again when you're ready to stop. And that is a video that plays in slow motion. So you try these things, go in and play with each of them and look at the fun different little effects that can come from them. The one that I really wanted to spend time with is the portrait mode. Now in portrait mode, this is where Apple's software blurs the background, and it allows you to get photos that look like they came from like a DSLR camera. And to use portrait mode. I'm trying to get in position because I've got a really fantastic subject over here. It's a stuffed animal, but I know contain your excitement there a little bit. But I wanted to remind you a few things. With portrait mode, you have to be within 8 feet. And if you notice at the top of my screen, it's telling me to move farther away and then be sure to place subject within. Where did it go? I'm getting messages. So in the iPhone, you have the different feature options. You have your natural lighting, you have your studio light, you have contour light. You can see these on the screen, and stage light. And then you have this stage light mono. The really nice piece that I really appreciate with portrait mode is when you take a picture in portrait mode, you can actually go to your photos. So I just took that photo of that stuffed animal. Notice how there's blurring of the background from the shelf underneath, and then the background, the little wood grain on the bookcase. If I go to my photos now and I select, notice at the top there's a portrait word. It's not going to print that way. If I go to edit it, now I can look at changing that picture that I already took. Notice how I can now scroll through all of the different modes. And if I choose, like if I wanted this one because it just took everything out, I can save it and I'm done. Now I can print that or post it on social media. The portrait insignia should not show up when I do that. Excuse me, when I post it. The other angle with editing is I can go right back in and edit. And hopefully you can see at the bottom of the right side of my screen that there's a revert button. So I can cancel this. I can go right back into selecting the different portrait modes. I can go into adjusting in different ways. I've hit this little magic wand and you can see how it brings out more of the color, the feature, the details. Excuse me. I can select these different looks, but it changes it. I don't like that. I'm going to go back. I'm going to edit it one more time. And then I can actually go down and crop it. And these are your basic tools that you get when you're editing your pictures in your iPhone. But I can twist it. I can flip it. Excuse me. I can bring it in, distort it. I can also bring in the actual picture, and then I can save it by selecting done, and there you are. I always thought that was pretty nice because in the regular photo mode, if you take a picture in photo, you do not have the option to go back and change between all the different modes in portrait. So just something to think about. Man, I guess the 63 degrees is getting to my throat. So let's look at more of the details here. And here we go. All right. So with natural lighting, it doesn't apply a real lighting effect. It just simply allows you to take the photo using the available lighting, and you use it if you're happy, of course, with your natural lighting selection. Let me get this thing down here so you can look at it better. So there's your natural light. And then if we go into studio light, it's wanting me to move further away. I have my natural selfie ring here with there we go. So this one, studio light, notice the difference between natural and studio. Now I have a bright light behind me, being the sky, but what this does is that it alters the photo by increasing the brightness of the subject's face. So going back to natural, see how it takes a little bit of light and adds it to it. I can also set my exposure by tapping on my screen. Notice how that little broken square is with a sun. And then here, get right back in the middle of the face. I can bring the exposure up, or I can decrease this exposure. You get all these features. It's pretty crazy. All right, let's move on to the next one. Let's see. I've got some cheat sheet over here for me. And then stay in portrait. Okay, now I'm going to take my little toggle wheel. There's my contour light. Notice how the changes. You can just kind of roll through natural, studio, just like I did earlier, contour, and then the stage light, and then the stage mono. So you can scroll through each of the variations. And then with each of them, you still have this opportunity to increase or decrease the lighting. So those are just some of the pieces that you have with the actual portrait mode. And then you have, bring this bad boy back down here. Now you have just your standard photo. And when you want to edit, or when you not edit, it's amazing how you can preview and teach something to someone and you're not being recorded, and you have no flub ups. And then that record button is just like this. It's getting to me. Sorry about all that. All right. So the thing about lighting with, I wanted to show you a scene in a minute. The lighting with manual focus, the iPhone is unable to capture the light and the dark like the human eye. But, so if I show you the sky, but if I do the same thing that I was showing earlier, I should show this side, by selecting or tapping, I tap on different areas, you can see how the lighting changes. And this is used a lot in sunsets and sunrises, because people are like, oh, it's beautiful to the naked eye, but I can't get that on my phone. But if you'll tap, it allows the true color or the better colors to come through. And then you can toggle that sun and get different exposures. And that's really, again, it's really handy when you're outdoors. It's handy when you're indoors, but I use that more so when I'm doing those sunsets and sunrises that we all try to catch when we are up early in the morning. All right, let me see what else I have for you here. There's the self timer. I should go over a couple of these things at the top. I totally missed those. At the top left-hand corner, you'll see there's a little lightning bolt. That is where you can turn on your flash, or you can turn it off, or you can leave it to auto. Another piece here, I'll turn it off for now, is this live photo. This captures like a 3-second image, video, if you will. Makes it a little more difficult when you share them via email, because it becomes a video. It's just a file to consider. If you upload it to social media, it's going to come across as a video, or kind of like a GIF. When you upload a GIF to your social media channel, especially on Facebook, you'll get that uploading video many times. So be aware, this also takes up more space, storage. And then of course, here's the self timer. One of the things that I wanted to recommend with the timer is when you are taking images of yourself or your products. A lot of times I see individuals on Facebook, let me reverse this. They'll do this and they're like, look at this new shirt we got in, and check it out. Or they'll do the whole, put it in a mirror and then show the mirror image of them, wearing the blouse or the outfit. And I get it. People are trying to do the best they can with what they have, but you're losing some of the principles of what you're trying to show off on the blouse or the outfit. And of course, we want to see it on people. It gives us a better idea of what it's going to look like. But if you use that timer, you can set it up for anywhere from 3 to 10 seconds. And that gives you a chance to set the phone down, step away, and get in position and take that photo to where you can be more natural instead of that selfie view. Just something to consider there. All right. And then as you're actually taking your photo, you can change the different color modes down here. Again, when I'm thinking about a business, how would that be utilized? I think people want to see the actual items as they are and not looking antique or washed out or anything like that. All right. I have another subject for you. I wanted to show you some little ideas here. Now this is more for that action shot, but there is a feature called burst mode, and it's simply utilized by holding down your shutter button. And I've got my little subject here, my little mountain lion. And if I hold this down, notice how at the bottom, I was producing all these pictures. So when I go to select the photo, I'm going to select at the bottom. And what iPhone does, out of all the pictures that I took, it selects the one that they think is the best, or I should not give this inanimate object human credit, but the AI actually chooses, that's what that dot is for. But I want something different. I want something that's looking up a little bit more. So see how it's changing. So there's one right there that I like. I'm going to select it. And then I'm going to choose done at the top right-hand corner. I can keep all of those photos. Now, I don't need 15 photos of this mountain lion. I only want to keep the one favorite one. And there it is. Now, from this point, I still have my editing capabilities. If I want to crop it down, I can do that very simply. There we go. And there we go. I'm done. So the glare of the lighting kind of makes him look blurred there. This is typically utilized when you have action, you know, like you're watching someone do a cartwheel or someone's running by. You can burst and grab the photo that's just right, which is, you know, like in a DSLR where you're just holding that button and you're getting a ton of photos. You go back and select the one that you want the best, that you like the best. And that's a lot easier than actually click, 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 click. So just hold your thumb down on the shutter button. I'll show you one more time, just for review. It's down here at the bottom. I'm going to get my little mountain lion going. I'm going to hold my button down. I probably didn't help myself out by moving my camera. As you can see now, oh, let me show you that. See at the top right-hand corner, it tells me that I have a burst of 17 photos. I can go in again and I can look for the one. This is when I was moving the camera, which is not smart. It created its own blur. He agrees with me. It was not smart to move the camera closer. But there you go. I can select that one and say I wanted this one also. I can select both of them. The little circle in the bottom right-hand corner of the images. And when I select done, now I can either keep all 15 photos or only the 2 favorites. So that's another nice feature, is that you can save more than just one of the images from that burst. Again, this is not the best selection, but it kind of is what it is right now for what I have. So what I just wanted to mention, moving on into another area, I've kind of gone over all the features from the bottom that are listed at the bottom in your options. I would say if you're going to take pictures of employees, maybe you want to do something to where you're going to do some promotionals or like milestones. Maybe it's a birthday coming up, or there's a milestone, someone's been working with you or for you for 2 or 3 years or 1 year or 5 years. Take a photo using the portrait mode if you just want to bring them in close. If you want to take a picture of your employee and you want maybe the store in the background, or you want the sign of your store, or maybe if you have a van or a truck, you want to have that behind them, I wouldn't blur that out. I would actually use the regular photo mode and then utilize those in your postings for that matter, or for that category. But think about how you're going to use the picture before you choose the mode. As far as product shots, when you have a brick and mortar, or if you don't have a brick and mortar, but you have products that you're selling, then think about the angles of where you're going to take the photo. Are you going to take it? Is this stuffed animal? If I'm selling stuffed animals, is this a good shot? Or is this a good shot? Or do I want to set it up on top of something? I'm trying to give people the feel for how they're going to utilize this when I take my picture. You know, I wouldn't take it just in a upside down. Who wants to buy that? That's not cool. That didn't look good anyway. And also, you know, are you going to hold the item? Are you going to hold it close? You're going to hold it back? Are you going to have someone snuggling with the stuffed animal? Just little kind of marketing angles of how you're going to take your photos. And then the other way you can use your camera for your business is, you know, with permission, taking pictures of your customers. And, you know, are they capturing them happy, capturing them after they've purchased something and they've got their items in their bag and they're smiling. That's really cool. Or if they're willing to model the clothing. Food, same thing. If you're in a restaurant business and you want to promote the foods, you know, snap a picture before it goes out to the customer. It's a good way to put this information out on social medias and on your website so people kind of get a feel for what they're going to get when they come to your place or what kind of products they can get from you. Kind of went over the editing, so I can review that if you have any specific questions. But the last part of this that I wanted to kind of go over with you is the importance of holding the phone. So right now, there's a full screen. So I've got my phone, I'm holding it sideways, so I'm getting the landscape. I presented this way so that you could, the typical view up and down, so you could see all the features that are being presented better. When you're taking pictures for your business, if you don't have any equipment, prop the phone up on a table, put it, you know, lean it on a book or something stationary to where it'll be a steady picture. Right now, you can't see this, but I'm wired up. So it was harder for me to lean it on something, especially as I was wanting to move around. Although I'm going to contradict myself here in a minute, because I recommend, if you have the means to do so, to get some items such as a tripod. I have a couple of tripods. Of course, I have a real tall tripod that I can set on the ground, and I have that phone connection. This is the one I started with. It's just a spring-loaded. That's pretty good. And then it just screws into the top. And then I have something that is smaller and more compact that, you know, this fits in my pocket pretty well. This will fit in a backpack if I were to go hiking. But as far as my business goes, you know, I could have something like this. If I'm traveling, I can take something like this. But I will recommend getting something a little more sturdy. This is like a C-clamp. You slip your phone inside, you can tighten it down, and then it's very steady, very stable. And then you connect it the same way to the top. And then as you're moving these different tripod holders, it's more stable. Now, I mentioned that I had bought this little spring-loaded one first because I wasn't certain about what I was getting into. And the spring on my first one popped, and it was making me a little nervous because this little $10 gadget is holding a, I don't know, $400 or $500 item, this phone. And that's why I invested in something a lot sturdier. And it fits this 8 Plus very well. And the last thing that I got, something that again was very inexpensive. So when I'm using this tripod and I'm using the clamp, of course, and I've got my phone connected to it, I invested in a very inexpensive little remote control. So right now, I can take a picture. It powers off. Of course it does. I was going to show you how crafty I was. I tested it out before. There it goes. It's Bluetooth capable. So it's connecting right now. That's the other thing. You got to be prepared ahead of time. It should connect. Trust me, y'all. It works. It's worked 3 times, and then we go into recording, and it doesn't like me. And that's okay. I can handle it. I can check my Bluetooth settings. It's not connected. And there it is right there. It's the AB shutter 3. There we go. Prove you know what you're talking about, right? And there's the picture. There's the picture that I just took. what's nice about this, yes, I do. I think I'm having the performance anxiety as well as the inanimate objects here, but thank you for that kindness. The nice part about having these guys is that you can stand away and take a photo, and you don't have to worry about the phone shaking or moving, and that's where we get a lot of our blurring from. So my recommendation is that when you're taking your photos, try to take a deep breath and exhale, and then that 1 to 2 second piece of your exhale is when you're steadiest. That's when you take your photo. You also consider when you're to hold your phone with 2 hands. And let me see if I can, I'm going to share this other screen. Give me just a second. I'm going to stop sharing altogether. At least that's my intent. You guys are very patient. I appreciate you very much. So now you see me on the computer. Hold your phone, not over the actual camera. Here's my camera here, but actually steady, hold the phone steady. A lot of us try to take pictures. It's called the soccer mom hold, because soccer moms are always out there, bless their hearts. They want all those pictures of their kids, but holding the phone with 2 hands, resting your elbow on a table or a bookshelf, but it actually helps you sometimes even hold it even more so with the full hand. And then you can have your thumb ready to take that photo. All right, gang, that's the end of what I have. And yes, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate. I am officially finished. I kind of breezed through some things there. I know that an hour is a long time, but it's not. And I think I went a little fast there, April. So let me see. I appreciate y'all being here, but I hope that you did get some tips on reviewing of the settings. Going into your settings and selecting your grid is really helpful. You'll notice that if you don't use your grids, you'll notice it up front as you start utilizing it, but then you won't even see them, but you'll actually line your pictures up better, which is really nice. And it's a really great way if you have products that you're selling, especially in a brick and mortar store. Consider putting that camera, that picture in that 2/3, and then seeing some of your other products in the background or your business sign. It just really helps to push more than just that single product. So you're utilizing double kind of marketing there, and you're giving people a feel for where they are, what they're going to look at when they come in. And you never know, you may be taking a picture of a blouse, and there may be something on the back wall that someone saw in the picture that they want to come in for, but it was the blouse that stopped them in the first place. So let me check and see. We've got a couple of chats. Yeah, as far as the grid goes, I've taken a couple of classes, and I was really considering getting a DSLR. And I know we have some professional users here of the DSLR, and they're amazing products, amazing tools and resources if you know how to use them. What I really appreciate about the phone cameras these days is that they're really trying to help the people like myself that have not had that extensive training, and I can use all of the settings and all the things that are built in to really enhance the photos I take that will take care of the product photos that I need to take. But it doesn't mean that a high quality video camera or a high quality DSLR are not something to consider in the future. And if you're looking to do something high end, maybe go to a professional photographer and ask them to take photos of all your employees. But it is something that you can utilize. I utilize it in my business all the time and for other businesses that I work for. I love the capabilities. I love portrait mode, especially when I'm looking at people. But I've also noticed that portrait mode is really good for products. I think I'm repeating myself a little bit, but that's probably the educator in me. Yeah, thanks, Linda. I am really intrigued about the new iPhone. Actually, I think you're beyond where I was looking. I was looking at the 12, and I'm just amazed at the three cameras that are, or excuse me, the three lenses that are now on some of these models. There's no telling where it's going to go. I love how you can adjust the lighting. You can square things where you can set them up. Oh, that reminds me, let me show you something real quick. See if I can get into this share thing again. I love this. All right, one more thing about editing. I'll turn my microphone off. All right. When I go into my pictures, let's see. Oh, goodness gracious. I also wanted to share with you guys how you can add for quick or easier access to your camera app. You can actually move it to this bottom row, which is called the dock. And so I simply hold it down, and then I can edit the home screen. And now I can just drag it down to the dock. There it is. So now when I unlock my phone, one of the other options to make this easier to get to is right there. It's right at the bottom. I'm going to take you to this picture. Now that's a gorgeous animal right there. So I'm going to take you to this picture here. This is a picture of of course, mountain range near sunset. Really liked how the different layering. This was no special lighting. It was just the natural lighting, regular photo mode. What drove me crazy is a friend of mine had a iPhone 12. The picture was so much more crisp. But what I like about this is I can edit this photo. Now all my edit is on the right side instead of at the bottom. So I'm going to turn it to where it's a little more comfortable for me. Now I selected this auto. Look at this. Look how the picture changes. And I'm thinking this is where we start to not really believe all the pictures that we see online, because look at this original. Here's my original photo. And then I'm going to go into edit and select this magic wand. And look at the color that comes into that. Now I could post that and people go, wow, look at that. That's amazing. How'd you get that shot? Well, it's photoshopped without using Adobe. The thing is, it may look a little pixelated on your screen, but that's because it's being projected. It's actually very crisp on my phone right now. I'm going to say done. And then I'm going to think, no, I can't do that. I'm going to revert. I'm going to go back to the original because I like to post the original. Now, what I tried to do at one point was to hold my finger down on that bright area above the mountains, but right in here. But what it did, I didn't like what it was doing to the rest of the scene. And I was really trying to capture those different layers that you see in that photo right there. Okay, again, I just want to spoil you to, isn't that a beautiful creature? That's the Sundance. Okay, now I will say, April, I am going to stop screen sharing. And if you guys have any questions for me, I certainly appreciate your comments and your grace with my flubbing up there a couple of times. So I do appreciate y'all being here.
You did a great job, Anna. Thank you very much. It almost convinced me to get an iPhone.
April, I've been trying to convince you to get an iPhone, but you love that Android.
I love my Android, but I tell you, the picture quality on an iPhone is just second to none. They're really, really gorgeous. So I'm almost convinced. But thank you very much. That was a very informative class. I appreciate you. For those of you that watched today, I know that Anna Marie through Sundance Expressions is always happy to take your follow-up questions. She shared with you here her contact information. And if you're not sure how to contact her, feel free to reach out to me and I'll give you her phone number and website and email and all that. I will again remind you that we have this class will be available online here in the next day or so on our website, smithfieldtx.org, as well as our Facebook page and the library's Facebook page. And our next class is coming up Our July 1st, sustainability for business owners. July 6th, what is podcasting and why should you do it? And July 13th, learn all about social media. And that's just a few of the classes that we have coming up. Feel free to check our online schedule at smithfieldtx.org, click on events, and in the drop down, you'll see all of our many virtual classes. Again, Ms. Murray, thank you so much for being here today with Sundance Expressions. It was a great class. That
Hey, thank
concludes
you.
our class today. Thanks, everybody.